think if we see a version of Messi from maybe 7, 8 years ago, he single-handedly could carry them to win this trophy.
He's an absolute genius. His record is fantastic. Does he need that World Cup on his CV to top it off? I don't think so.
And I'm sorry to get back to talking about Messi, because I personally could talk about him all day long. I just think he's such a unique talent. I really do. There's absolutely nothing about him to dislike. You know, he works his socks off. He can create. He can score goals. He gets me on his seat, I think, like no other player in my lifetime watching football. And I'll say it again. I've got a young son, and I said to him many years ago, watch and enjoy Messi and Ronaldo, because they don't come along in every generation.
And the pressure's on him from the other Argentinian players because he's 35. He can't do it forever.
Yeah, he's been used to that. That's why he's a great player, and he's obviously always stepped up.
It's a 7-game cup competition, if you like, so you don't have to play brilliantly. You just have to have a master of moments, and that's what Messi is.
What all these great players do, particularly when they get a bit older, it is just about moments. It's that bit of end product. We talk about Messi, Ronaldo recently. It was his first touch that led to the goal. It was a brilliant finish. Other than that, he was very, very average. Produced that moment. He's now got 2 goals in 2 games, considering he's almost, people are saying he's finished. You can't write these players off.
We were right behind Messi. We could see how good that first touch was. It's not a completely pure strike, but it's certainly a strike good enough as it arrows into the corner.
No, it's a finish that we've seen, though, from him so many times, to put that power on it with the strike. I mean, Roy's right. The last thing that leaves these great players is the precision in the finish. An outstanding player, one of the greatest of all time. And Messi, to be fair, like you say, it is moments now.
Any other player in this competition wouldn't have punished you in that situation, but the touch and then the strike, it's just outstanding.
They're still hugely reliant on Lionel Messi.
Oh, of course, the numbers even tell you that. I mean, if he scores today, it's going to be the 7th consecutive game that he's scored in. He's got 12 goals in his last 6 games, so the reliance on him is as big as ever. But this is a guy who's used to that. He's used to winning, he's used to being the mainstay and the main centrepiece of every team he plays in, and he always produces the goods.
And we have to enjoy this World Cup because it probably could be his last one. So, you know, for a player like Messi, one of the greatest of the time, just have to be good.
I remember when we were at the Camp Nou, at the Camp Nou, you're really high, aren't you, when in the gantry?
Bird's eye.
And we were looking down on it, and he hit this pass that we've gone, how can you do that? It's almost as though he's seeing himself from above when he plays, because he sees things that we couldn't see. We were going, what?
And we were like, oh my God, what's he doing? Oh, what a pass! Like, we're just like, wow. And that's the kind of the player that he's seeing things that people that are watching the game can't see. Different.
He's scored 788 goals in 999 games and provided 338 assists. He's won 7 Ballon d'Ors. This is his 100th appearance as captain of his country. He's one of just 6 players to have appeared at 5 World Cups, and if Argentina make the final, he'll overtake Lothar Matthäus' record of 25 World Cup appearances.
I mean, it's one thing getting to the top, it's another actually staying there. Those numbers, I mean, they're just bonkers. I mean,
it's the joy that he gives you when you watch him play. It's the dribbles, it's the feints, it's the vision, it's the weight of his passing, isn't it? It's the whole package.
It's everything. And listen, pass the ball to Messi. That's all we needed to do. You know, when I was the ball in my feet, of course, I choose where's Messi? Where's Messi?
You can put any type of game plan in front of this guy and he'll find a way of unpicking it because of the sheer ability, and he's now surrounded the football pitch. He's done it time after time.
And I see many people in this World Cup saying, we want our country to win the World Cup, but if not, we want Argentina to win because of Messi.
There's a lot of people saying
it was always going to have to be a piece of brilliance that broke the deadlock, and that's exactly what happened. 35 minutes, they withstood all that pressure, and then that was it. That little man on the ball, and that all changed it.
I must admit, I was getting a little concerned about what kind of analysis we would do at half-time, what we're going to talk about, because after 35 minutes. And I even saw a post on social media, it was actually from Danny Baker, and he was saying there are 9 countries in the world that start with an A and end with an A, and 2 of them are playing in this game, and I was thinking maybe we could just try and guess the other 7 to fill the time. But in the end, we were saved by him again.
Messi there has put on the best individual performance we've seen at this World Cup so far. He's by a mile. It was almost like godlike after every single thing he does. It was just crazy. And we were as much looking at the pitch as looking at the fans after everything he'd done, because the reaction of the fans, I've not seen anything like this.
How does he do the things he does, Ria? I mean, I've seen him so many times.
I swear, if we had a camera on us in here, though, the way we were jumping up and down, I've lost my voice. We're screaming at, like, how is he doing this? He's embarrassing players, but with his head up.
Yeah.
You know, when people normally take people on and go through a cluster of players, their head's down, but they don't see the pitch. He's taking people on and also seeing the pitch and where opponents are, spatial awareness. He's just phenomenal. Messi has to perform like this for them to go all the way. I don't think they're good enough outside of him to be able to. But they do have him, so they have a chance. When he's in the side, they do have a chance. He has always been the difference, and he's used to this. And this is the environment that he seems to thrive in. So this will be no different for him. This is a walk in the park any day. It's the normal for him. Training, games like this, environments like this, Messi just comes alive, and we hope that he does today. I do, just as a football fan. I've got no allegiance to either of these teams, but as a football fan, you come to this stadium, you watch on TV to see the greatest players perform.
And when I say I'm confident before the game, it's because we have Messi on the field, and he's the only one who can really make things happen. And, well, when we talk about this pass, it was unreal.
How did you see that pass?
Please explain. That pass, the pass defies physics completely. It's a phenomenal pass, and it had to be perfect, and it was. But when it comes to games that need to be defined, he's the one that takes on the responsibilities of that, and he enjoys that. And he's a phenomenal footballer. You see in this stadium, whenever he gets the ball and whenever he does anything, the whole stadium stands up. It's amazing to see.
You know, England have gone out. I think it would be the greatest story if Messi was to win the tournament. I think that he's a genius, and I think Maradona is the sort of... It feels like the Argentina team is... Average is too strong, but you look at what Maradona did. He lifted that team to something that was well beyond they were capable of, obviously, as a group, and I think that he's doing the same here. He's lifting them right the way through the tournament.
If Messi does this, he's probably going to go on to be arguably the best. You look at his record and everything, and I think that they probably want to be in that team what helped him over the line at this stage of his career. You know what I mean? Because not only will they have the medal and the fact that they've done it themselves, but they will have also helped Messi, elevated him to that arguably #1 of all time.
It does feel like a mission, doesn't it, the World Cup, to him and to the rest of his team now, who, to be fair, are so collective around him in terms of how they're playing. They're almost saying, we're going to keep a clean sheet, we're going to be horrible to play against, we're going to do everything right, and then he'll go and win us the game, he'll do something, and that's what's happening.
I think with Messi, as much as PSG have brought him and they've got obviously Mbappe and Neymar, Messi's like mantra in the world of football, like Maradona's, you know, like Pele, like all those guys, Zidane, R9, is to win the World Cup. And that's why you'll probably see, when you see him in this scenario, he's at his very best. He's at his very best.
At PSG, there's 3 of them hanging up there doing nothing. You wouldn't do that. If he had 2 of them, he's got subservience here. The rest of his teammates are all putting in a massive shift for him. Yeah. And that's what he needs. And I think with PSG, there's 2 or 3 others up there that are, to be fair, and you can't carry 3, 4 without the ball. You can carry 1 without the ball. And that's what Argentina are doing. So well done to those other players.
Do you think Messi will turn it on today?
I do, yeah. I think it's written in the stars for the star to win. I really do. I think it's his name will be all over this game.
Okay. And they've just grown and they've adapted game by game and they've stumbled upon a sort of a way of playing that actually just serves Messi absolutely perfectly. Stick Alvarez up front with him. The rest of them are just giving everything behind. They're resilient, tough, and just favourites.
Just favourites for you?
Yeah, just about. Just with Messi, I think. I think it takes a lot to get me excited, but I'm really looking forward to this game.
You said before the game we'll see an Mbappe hat-trick, but Messi lift the trophy. You'd have probably said that was almost like the perfect end to this game. What we've just seen is incredibly special in terms of sport and football. Obviously now we're going to see a magic moment that will be played for the next 100 years, which is Lionel Messi lifting the World Cup.
Yeah. To do it, his last game for his country. Wow. What an ending for him and his family.
Sometimes
I can sit here and I can tell my grandkids someday that I was here for this moment, for this final. I feel blessed to have been able to sit here and witness what a way to finish your international career. This is fairy tale business. Would you say that's it now? Completed it, haven't you? Completed the game?
I think I mean, what more does he need? He doesn't need to prove anything to anyone now, Messi, does he? He won absolutely everything.